Hi guys, Rook back, and thanks for stopping by Rook Geek Goodness, my little channel on the interweb for all things geeky and cool. What we're looking at today is an action figure out of the GOTHITROPOLIS line designed by the Four Horsemen. They're a group of sculptors that actually work prominently for Mattel and NECA. They got their big push mainly with Masters of the Universe and DC Classics. They actually made this figure as a project known as the Fantastic Project here, or the Fan Expo Project. You see it at the top here, guys. You'll see where it says Fantastic at the top here. This particular figure was the fourth figure they actually tried to create and actually ran into a problem. It actually, every year from 2005 to 2008, just for a little bit of backstory with it, in 2005 they launched the Fantastic Project, or Fan Expo Project. Every year they actually had a vote through their forum of who or what figure would win. On the fourth iteration of this in 2008, the Raven, as you see here, won the vote. Well, as they were going through the process of creating the figure and doing what's called tooling, which is actually getting everything sculpted and built, they ran into a snag. The pricing of the tooling has gone up so much, and to put it together overseas, they couldn't afford to make the figure. And instead of scrapping the whole project, they decided, you know what? Several years later, they went on to Kickstarter. So in 2013, they actually launched a Kickstarter program for this particular figure, for the Raven. Now, it actually had 1,500 backers and actually produced $300,000 in actually $300,000 to actually make this particular figure. Now, it does support 6 inches in size and 6 inch scale, and it has 34 points of articulation. So let's take a look at him here up close. Now, the package is superb from the GOTHITROPOLIS line here. So you see the writing here. It has this kind of rustic motif looking, like maybe like you would see it as a statue. On the other side as well, guys, see it here. Now, what made this kind of neat is they actually, through Kickstarter, decided to make 12 different birds. As you see here, there's 12 different ones, and you can actually would have been able to order either this Raven figure, known as the Dichotomous Harabin, or Black Raven, which was the main figure that you actually would have purchased. But they decided to make Kickstarter goals to make more of these figures, and became a running joke. If you look down here, guys, in the corner, something known as Minotaur the Duck. It actually became a fan forum item that actually some people put together and actually came up with an idea for it, and actually the Horseman built him, which is really neat. Now, it does support this kind of odd packaging, this plastic edging here, so you can actually take this figure completely out of card and actually repackage it later if you wanted to. So you can still keep it kind of mint on card, which is kind of a nice little touch here, guys. So what we'll do is we'll come back from a break, guys. We have the Raven out of packaging, and the first thing you notice when you first get him out of packaging, if we could take a look here, is the way he looks. This is a phenomenally done figure as far as presentation goes, as far as sculpt goes. I mean, let's take a look at the head here, just the detailing. You can see all these feathers. The amount of paint they put into this thing is absolutely astounding. Kind of rustic looking armor, kind of has an ornate look to it. Even has his little wings here. Now these wings, there is some articulation to the wings. If you notice here, mine's a little stiff, but they will move. These wings will expand open. Now, what was kind of neat about this is you can get an add-on pack to these. These can actually be physically removed. You can pull these right out, and there's a peg in place for these large, expansive wings that actually, the wings are about as tall as the figure. I'll put a picture of it in the corner here, if I can find one, a decent shot of him with these wings. It looks really, really, really neat. Now, let's look down here at his little belt. He has this little belt on, if you see, guys. He has kind of some artifacts. He's got a little horn. He's got his little monkey's paw, some sticks, and a belt pouch. If we go all the way down the figure, you notice this kind of loincloth, kind of this plastic loincloth with all this embroidery. Very, very well detailed, well designed. We go down to the legs, and if you notice the legs here has this weird L shape, and we'll talk about that in a second. So let's break down his actual articulation. Now, he does support 34 points of articulation, as I said before. The head is on a ball joint, as you see here. It has up and down movement. Shoulders has a wide range of motion. It goes out to about this far. You could probably get it further, but because of this armor here kind of hinders the shoulders. If we go down to the arms, you have elbow joints, you have wrist swivels here, you have the little bit of rocker chest action. Not a whole lot though, because of the way the armor kind of hinders a little bit of movement. You have the knees. You have if you look over here, the way these knees bend, they're clicking knees. There's some click to it. There's some movement, kind of a little stiff. Now, the biggest drawback that I see of this figure, guys, is these legs. These legs are extremely sensitive, and it's kind of tricky to get him into poses just because he has these chicken legs. Now, he does support some accessories. First things we have here are these claws. Well, these aren't actually hands, these are feet. Now, these can actually be swapped out. So let's swap these out here. I'm going to take these legs and put them on here. Here's the biggest problem here with these legs here, guys. If you remove these legs without using some type of stand, some type of flight stand, you can't put it anywhere. And they are very, very stiff to get in. As you notice, I'm kind of struggling trying to get these claws in. But as you notice, even me struggling to get it in, there we go, finally got him in. The biggest problem, you notice, guys, is he doesn't really stand all that well. The way these are really designed, these are designed as kind of a battle effect. So you actually put them on some type of figure stand and use this. Same thing goes with these ones here. If you could, a great sound as you hear a plug coming out here. Now, I won't put these ones on. I'll put the normal ones back on here, guys. 1 second as I struggle again to put these legs on. They do fit really, really well and very, very snug. I've not broken a peg yet with it, so thankfully it's really, really nice. Now, these ones are kind of interesting because these actually go on to his feet again, like I said. Now, what you can do, if you look at this weapon, I'll get to that in a second, is you can actually slide this weapon through this hand. So the idea really is to put this weapon into his foot and link him up to a flight stand. That's the real purpose I would see for these hands. Let's see if I can get it better in here. Better grip now. It's about the best you can get with it, and that's okay. I have no problem with that. So let's take a look at this weapon that I was talking about. And again, that's the biggest shortcoming with the figure, guys, is that he's very, very sketchy when it comes to his stance because the way these feet are designed. So let's look at this weapon, this large weapon. He has 2 pieces, actually. He has this scythe weapon here. And if you look at the paint apps, are phenomenally done here. It has this kind of weathered look here. He has some kind of runes on it, as you can see. And he has this other piece here, which is a mace attached to a staff with this chain. Now, this chain has a kind of coppery look to it, which is kind of neat. Now, what's really, really cool is you can take this weapon and link it together. As you notice here, guys, as you see here, let me kind of zoom out here. Move him back a little bit so you can see the weapon is much bigger than him. As you notice, much, much taller. Now, let's try to do what he's kind of known for, is this double-handed grip. So give me 1 second, see if I can actually get this together. There we go. This is kind of what he's really, really known for, but again, because of these sketchy feet, he's kind of tricky to get into a pose. As you see, I'm even struggling with him to get into a shot here so I can actually get him, because the way these feet are designed, again, it's very, very sketchy to hold him in this stance. Now, as you notice, go here. I have to kind of lean him back to even get him into a stance. Now, what you can do is you can, on the other side, take these weapons apart and you can hold them individually. Like so. Which might be a little easier to display, as you notice here, guys. Now, he does have full range of motion, like I just said before. Now, like I said, the biggest issue are these sketchy legs here. He does have bendable knees, but because the way they make these legs, it's really, really tough to get him into a really, really dynamic pose. But I mean, even displayed something like this is kind of cool, as you notice here, guys. I hope you guys do like this video. Remember to like and thumbs and subscribe. I am still trying my best to get to 100 subs so I can do my very first contest, and that again is for the Killer Croc Barnes & Noble's glow-in-the-dark version. So remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I hope you like this one. Take care, and bye-bye.